Hello everyone. We are in the third and the last session learning the 13 principles, 13 עיקרי אמונה, 13 principles of the Jewish faith. And we divide them to three groups. And we spoke already about 9 out of the 13, and now we're in the last group, which is the number 10, 11, 12, and 13. We'll go over the principles, the all 13. Okay. It's appear in the Sidurim also, usually at the end of Tfilat Shacharit. Okay, here they are. Metziut Hashem, number 1, that Hashem exists and Hashem is the creator of the creation. That He is one, that's number 2. That He is one and exclusive. He is the absolute one. We spoke about this. I'm just summarizing. I'm not going to go to the details, but He is the absolute one, the only absolute one which exists, and He is exclusive. Number 3, that He is not material. Material is limited by time and space, and Hashem is unlimited. Number 4, that He is above time. He created the time. We said that the creation of the time is in the first word in the Torah, Bereshit, which is the beginning. This is the beginning. Before that was no time. Therefore, Hashem, who created the time, was there before the time scale was created. Therefore, He was there always, and He will be always. This is the meaning of number 4, Shehu Kadmon v'Nitzchi. Kadmon meaning He always there was, and He always will be. Number 5, that He is the only real power behind everything. Therefore, Jews and non-Jews, allow to turn to any mediator, source or power, to think that this one or the one, all the other powers was created by the Creator Himself. So they do not have power from themselves, but what Hashem gave them. Therefore, anyone who turns to any power, the only power that you allow to turn to is the source of the powers, which is Hashem. This is the meaning of She'en la'avod et zulato. Basically, this is the Isur Avodah Zorah, meaning that you're not anyone in the world, Jew and non-Jew, allowed to worship or to turn to any source, any power aside from Hashem. She'en la'avod et zulato. Those are the 5th one. I'm sorry, this is the 5th one, and those are the first group. All of them dealing with Hashem, what we should know about Him, and therefore what we could know about Him, therefore we should know about Him. The other 4, the second group is the next 4, number 6, 7, 8, and 9. We spoke about them last week. And the title of this is Torah Mishamayim, that Hashem make connection with people, Creator make connection through a channel called Nevuah. And this is principle number 6, that there is such a thing called Nevuah, which is a very unique communication channel between Hashem and a human being. Number 7, that there is a huge difference between all the Nevi'im, all the prophets, and Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is above all the Nevi'im significantly, meaning in the way of the communication with Hashem. That's number 7. Number 8, that we got the Torah from Hashem. This is Mamad Har Sinai, and not just this, that Moshe Rabbeinu went to the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, and he learned the entire Torah. The entire Torah meaning the oral Torah and the written Torah. The written Torah and the oral Torah, all of this from Shemayim. It's not human being make it up, but everything is from Hashem. The implication of this, but it's a principle by itself, is number 9, שהתורה נצחית ולא תשתנה. That the Torah is eternal and no changes needed and possible in the Torah. Because Hashem gave the Torah, Hashem knows what He's doing, there is no need to fix the Torah, to reform it, to take away from it, to add to it. It's perfect, and therefore it's eternal and not allowed to be changed. Okay, so about all of those things we spoke in the last 2 sessions, and now let's emphasize in the last group. The last group is basically the reward system, but there are details. Let's see. Number 10, let's first read the titles. Principle number 10, that Hashem is aware of everything that's happening here, meaning everything actually in the universe is automatic, meaning there is the laws of nature. There are the laws of nature. The laws of nature dictate how everything is functioning. So Hashem created the laws of nature, and therefore He has a full control and full awareness of what's happening in the universe. The only problem, that's why it's a principle here, the only quote problem is the free will that Hashem gave to the human beings. Because a human being has a free will meaning that he could react to a situation that way or just the opposite of it, and it's up to the person the person will. So if so, there is one thing only in the entire universe that is not dictated by the laws of nature. Hashem gave a human being a free will, free meaning that he's not interfering. And because of that, it's important to know that Hashem knows everything that people choose to do. He gave us free will. He's aware of what we're doing. This is very important principle. And I try to explain. Everything in the universe is automatic. It has to work according to the laws of nature. But the laws of nature are not applied to the free will of the human being. So we have a free will to do this or just the opposite of it. Hashem is aware of it. Meaning He's not controlling it, but He is aware of it. Now here, in this principle, number 10, there is a big question of Yediah and Bechira. That's the title of it, Yediah and Bechira. And that's actually what Rabbi Akiva says in the Mishnah in Maseches Avos, Hakol tzafui ve'hareshut netuna. Hashem knows everything. So Hashem knows before things happen, how they will happen. This is Hakol tzafui. Hashem observe everything or know everything in advance. If so, how it could work with free will. Meaning, if Hashem knows what I'm going to choose to do in 5 minutes from now, apparently, if He knows it, and He knows everything, I must do according to what He knows. Because if I really have a free will to do against what He knows, so He didn't know. And that could not be because Hashem is Almighty. So this is a big, big question. There is an answer to this, don't worry. The answer is very complicated, so I don't know if we'll have time to relate to it, because in brief, sometimes it will not be clear enough. But there is a complete, full, not apologetic, very, very good answer for this question. Okay, let me finish first, and then we'll go back to this if we'll have time. Okay, Yediat Hashem muchletet. Hashem knows aware of everything that's happening here, meaning you could not say, you know what, Hashem created the world, okay, and now he's not interested anymore in what's going on. No, he knows everything. Principle number 11, we'll go back to number 10. Principle number 11, Sachar ve'onesh lefi ha'ma'asim. Meaning, there are implications to every choice that you do within the free choice. You have a free choice, you could do this and you could do that. But anything that you do, good or positive or negative, will have consequences. If the action is good, the consequences will be good. And vice versa. There is nothing like, I just did it, stam. There is no implication. No such a thing. The reward system, Sachar ve'onesh, reward system, a reward and a punishment for good things or not good things, is not, okay, I have to explain this a little bit more. We all know, we all aware of the reward system since we were very, very little, right? Let me give you a simple example. You say to a kid, you'll behave, you'll be nice, you'll get a candy. You will not behave, either you will not get candy or you'll be punished. So everyone knows this since day one, almost. We have to know that the reward system by Hashem to the free will is not like that. It's not, you did good, you will get good. You did wrong, you will get punishment. The reward is implication of the action. Let me explain. I'll give another example. Imagine someone who is a heavy smoker. At the age of 40, 45, he came to the doctor with very severe pain in the chest. The doctor checked all the things that he checked, and he found out that there is a big problem over there. Connected it to the smoke. Okay, so before he gave the results, the doctor, to the patient, he asked him, could you tell me a little bit about your life? What are you doing? What's your habit? Are you smoking? So the answer was yes. I'm smoking since the age of 18. 3 packs a day. So the doctor said, you know what? It's fit exactly what the results are. You have a big problem with all your blood vessels. They're all in very bad condition because of this habits that you have, smoke. Okay. Your situation is very, very severe. I'm telling you, you have to stop, but completely stop, right now, smoking. Quit smoking. If not, I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't see, I predict, based on what we saw, a severe heart attack within 6 months. So it's not a joke. Stop smoking right now. The person went home shocked that he's going to die, or he's in the dangerous of being dead within 6 months. So because of that, he decided to stop smoking, quit smoking, but he didn't succeed so much. But he reduced it tremendously. Instead of 3 packs a day, he could not resist completely, and He smoked one cigarette every 3 days, 2 cigarettes a week. Okay, after 8 months, he came in the middle of the night to the emergency room with a heart attack, light heart attack. The doctor in the emergency room was the doctor that checked him 8 months before. So after he gave him the first treatment, he said, well, we know each other, right? Oh, you were here, right? About 8 months ago. Remember what I told you? If you continue to smoke, you're going to die from heart attack. Tell me what happened. So he told him. I decided to stop, but I couldn't do it completely. So I kept smoking 2 cigarettes a week. The doctor told him, okay, that's why it's after 8 months and it's a light heart attack. Stop smoking completely from now. You're putting yourself in a very dangerous situation. Okay, this is the story. Now let's analyze it. What actually happened here? 8 months ago, the doctor told him, I'm commanding you, stop smoking. If you will not stop, I'm going to kill you. Version number 1. Version number 2, stop smoking. If you will not stop, you will kill yourself. Number 2 is the right one, right? The doctor is not doing anything. The doctor just analyzing what happened. Who's going to kill him? Himself, if he will continue. Meaning over here, the punishment is not arbitrary. It's not coming from outside. The action cause the effect. So this is an essential reward system. It's not arbitrary one. It comes from it. So the punishment is an outcome of the wrong behavior. And the reward is the outcome of the good behavior. But we have to know that there is nothing that you just do and will be no consequences. The consequences are there. It will come now, it's going to come later, but it's there. And this is the principle number 11. So free will is a nice gift, but it requires a lot of responsibility. Because you have a free will, you choosing what happened, what's going to happen to you. So this is principle number 11. Principle number 12. And here we're talking about the general creation. So we have to understand the concept of Mashiach, Biat HaMashiach. In a way, Biat HaMashiach, when Mashiach will come, the era of free will, the time of the free will be up. Meaning, still will be Bechira at the time of Mashiach. Will be still free will, but it will be very, very narrow. Because when Mashiach will come, the truth, the absolute truth will start to be revealed. And when the absolute truth will be revealed, when it will be revealed completely, will be no free will anymore. Because we have to understand the concept of the free will. It's connected to the last 3 principles. Yediat Hashem, that Hashem knows what we're choosing, and the reward based on what we choose, and Mashiach. So let's just analyze the concept of the free will in order to understand those 3 principles. Free will, in a way, it's something impossible. Why? Significant free will is between 2 very extreme options, between positive and negative. many people do not really understand what free will is. You know, if you go to visit someone and they offer you drink, what are you going to drink? Tea, coffee, cold drink? So many people will look at this situation as, oh, nice example of free will. I could choose. I could choose tea, could choose coffee, I could choose light drink, cold drink, I could choose not to drink. Is this free will? The answer is no. Let me explain why. It's very important to understand it. This is not free will. This, we could call this a preference. You could prefer this or this or this, or to drink now or not to drink now. But that is not free will, because free will is between two extreme opposites. You have no free will if to drink or not to drink. I mean, ever. You could choose or prefer not to drink now, but you have to drink in the next few hours, the next few days. You cannot not drink. Therefore, you have preference what to drink, when to drink, but in order for it to be a free will, it should be between yes or no, complete no. And that's not in this area, in these things of drinking or sleeping or eating. Free will is always between positive and negative, which is two extreme opposites. And if so, how people could choose between positive and negative? Hashem gave us ability to think. We have a seichel. The seichel is not just a gift, it's a responsibility. So if your seichel understands completely the two sides, you understand that this is positive and this is negative. To give an example, I give you 2 cups of water. I'm telling you, in the right one there is very good quality water. In the other cup there is water, but also in it there is a poison. Very strong poison. Now I'm offering you those two and say to you, okay, free will, choose. Anyone will choose the poison? When you know that it's poison, and you know that it's going to kill you, and you do not really want to commit suicide, there is no free will. When the truth is very, very clear, there is no free will. No one will consider the poison. So, free will is always between positive and negative. When you have positive and negative, who will choose the negative? The negative is negative at least as a poison. Who will choose the poison? The poison will choose the negative. So here we have to understand how the system works. And if we'll understand it, we'll understand a lot. Usually when people facing a dilemma of free will between positive and negative, usually they know very, very well that the negative is negative. How come in many cases they chose the negative even though they're aware of its negativity? Because there is a temptation. What is the temptation? The temptation is, yeah, right, it's wrong, but it's yummy. It's wrong. I know it's wrong. I know it's negative. But I will feel good if I do it. This thing could just take the seichel and put it aside. And we see, and this is the reason that so many people who is aware of the negativity choose the negativity anyways, because of their habits, because of a temporary or immediate pleasure that it gives them. So this is actually so powerful, it could blind the eyes of the brain, the eyes of the seichel, the temptation. Now, when Mashiach will come, the truth will be revealed. When the truth will be revealed, the negative will be so negative that will be no temptation. No temptation will make people to choose the negativity. So this is the Geula. The Geula is not just for us Jews, it's a Geula of the world, because people will not make mistakes anymore, will not choose wrong anymore. Lo yashchitu velo yareu bechol har kodshi. That's a pasuk in Yeshayahu. This is the concept of Geula, of Bias Mashiach. And it's part of the reward system. Mashiach will make the time of darkness that you could work against what's right, it will make it comes to the end. And Mashiach will bring the Geula for those who deserve the Geula before the light, before the truth was revealed. After Mashiach will come, will be more events to the end of the time of this world, and one of the major of them is Tchias HaMeisim, which is principle number 13, the resurrections of the dead. What that means? Tchiyat HaMeitim will be after Mashiach. It's not with Mashiach, it's after Mashiach. Actually, in a way, there is no connection between those two, even though many people connect it. It's not connected. Mashiach has certain job. He has to end, technically, the galus of the Jews, the exile, bring them back to Eretz Yisrael, build Beit HaMikdash, and bring everyone to the spiritual level that we were at the time of Ma'amad Har Sinai. Those are the job of Mashiach. After that will be another event called Tchias HaMeisim. Tchiat HaMeitim is all the people that was in the world since the beginning of the history, Jews and non-Jews, will face an event that some of them will go through it, which is Tchiat HaMeitim. The neshama will go back to the body will be revived, and the people will be alive again. But not in the way they were before they died. In much elevated way. The neshama will come to the body. The body was decayed. Become back to its origin. Ki afar ata ve'el afar tashuv. It will come back. When it's rebuilt, it will rebuild in the right way. Without something called in the Kabbalah, Zohamat HaNachash. The impurity that was caused because of the first sin. When the Adam and Chava listened to the Nachash, there is something negative that came into their body, and that caused, when they ate from Etz Hadat Tov Hara, they put in their body spiritual impurity that make them have to die. When the bodies will be rebuilt, revived at the end of days, it will be without this impurity. Therefore, the quality of the body and the interaction between the body and the soul will be completely different. And it will be no bechira, because the bechira that we have, the choice that we have today, and the fact, as I said, that we could be aware of the truth and just act against it, it's because of this Zohamas HaNachash, because of this impurity that we have in the body. So after Mashiach will come and the free will be narrowing slowly but surely, Tchiyas HaMeitim will be that the body will be rebuilt without this tendency to do what's wrong. The purpose of Tchiyas HaMeitim, after Tchiyas HaMeitim, will be another event called Yom Adin HaGadol VeHaNorah. And that will be at the really end of the time of this world, which is 6,000 years. So after Tchiyat HaMeitim, immediately after will be a day of judgment. The judgment will be who is moving over to the eternity. And moving over to the eternity meaning that the body that was revived and the neshama that in it, the soul, will be, if they will be judged to stay for existence, they will stay forever in this state, body and a soul. And this is Olam Haba. This is the world to come. I just want to remind you that the entire 13 principles, the Rambam wrote them on the Mishnah in Masechet Sanhedrin that started with the words, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Every Jew has a portion in the world to come. The question is, what portion? So we have to know that the situation that we are in now is a temporary one. The entire world, the entire Olam Hazeh, this world is temporary, is limited by time. Olam Haba, the world to come, is eternal, is eternity. And over there will be not just the spiritual dimension of us, but the body and the soul. Says the Ramchal, he summarized it from the Kabbalah, the body and the soul was partnered to work at the time of the work, which is the free will time, which is the Olam Hazeh. Therefore, if they deserve it, they both will get the reward. The body also, not just the neshama. So Olam Haba is for body and soul, but the body will be in very high level that we could not imagine. That we will be in the level of Adam Rishon before the sin. And the Medrash says that he was so great, he was really in the image of God. So much so that the Malachim, the angel, want to bow down to him. Because they realize that he is more than them. So the sin make the body the way it is now. But the body has the potential, and this potential will be actualized after Tchiyas HaMeitim, and after it will be decided who has a portion of the world to come. And the one who will be there forever, body and soul. There are a few very interesting examples, like Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi never died. He went with his body up. Double meaning up. Meaning his body was elevated and he has a body of an angel. And that's what's going to be. We have no way to even imagine it. But this is the thing. And this is basically will be the end of this world. So the 13 principles are the 13 principles of what happened now in this world. Then, in the world to come, we have no way to even imagine what it will be, but we here now in the world of Hester, of darkness, of concealment, in order to choose right, and if we learn the Torah, understand the principles, we could live in this world with an effort, and it's required an effort because the entire world is against. People live the physical life, they're looking for spirituality, but they do not really find anything. They have some illusion substitutes. We are the lucky one who got the real truth from Hashem. But it's a challenge to live through it in the environment that we have in this world. So those 13 principles are the 13 principles that if we have to learn them, then to apply them to our life, to our conscious, to understand that this is the truth. Okay, so basically those are the last four. I will go back now a little bit to principle number 10 to explain the things of the yediyah of Hashem, the knowledge of Hashem, that is absolute knowledge, and how it's not contradict the free will. We'll see how much time we could spend on this, but it's a question that many people think, wow, there is no answer to this. There is, okay? And here it is. When we speak about Hashem, we always making a mistake called humanizing God. What is Hashem? What is Hashem? So we heard about God, again, in very, very early age. I could tell you what I thought. What is God? What is Hashem? And I guess almost everyone thinks, at least when they were young, the same way. Hashem is very, very good. Where is He? Up there, above the clouds. And He is very smart, and He is very good, and He knows everything. But who He is, I imagined it, and I guess everyone, right, as a human being. Because that's what we could, when someone tell you a story about something, you operate your imagination. What feed your imaginations? Your experience. You could not imagine something that you take things that you know and you put them in the imagination in order to try to put together the idea. So we all thought about Hashem as a human being, superhuman being, the best ever, but human being. And this is wrong. And this is the answer to the question. Let me explain how. We're speaking about what is the contradiction between the yediyah, the knowledge of Hashem, and the action of the free willer. And as I said before, Hashem knows what I'm going to do in an hour from now, and a day from now, and a year from now. He knows, right? You cannot say that He do not know, because He is almighty, meaning He knows everything. So He knows. So if He knows, apparently I have no choice but to do what He knows. So I actually do not have free will. The answer to this is the following. When you talk about the knowledge of Hashem, you have to ask yourself two questions. Who is Hashem? And is He knows things the way we knows things? And the answer is no. How do we know? Let's analyze knowledge. How a human being knows anything. I want to know something that I still do not know. The thing that I want to know is completely there. Let's give an example. I am now in New York, and I want to know what's the weather in Paris. But I'm here. I want to know. What I'm doing in order to know, I'm connecting myself. Let's say I pick up the phone, ask a friend in Paris, how's the weather around you? Or in those days, you could go to the computer and just see what's the forecast for tomorrow in Paris. Actually, what did you do? You connected yourself to a knowledge that were there completely outside of you. You just was not connected to it. When you know, when you want to know, you connect yourself to the things. This is yediyah. Yediyah is connection to an objective things that outside of you. Okay. Let's say now that there is a person in front of me who is sitting on a chair. I see the person, and I know the person is sitting on a chair. So we have here the idea, what I know that this person is sitting on the chair. And we have this person. This person chose to sit on the chair. Is this person could stand up? Sure. Is my awareness of him or her sitting prevent the free will? No. I know, and they could do whatever they want. So there is no contradiction between the knowledge of me to the action of the person that I'm seeing and watching. That's okay when you talk about real time. How do I know? Because I see the action when it's happening. So I could know the present. I could know the past. If I remember what happened, I could know it. Yes? What I could not know, the future. Because the way for me to know is to learn on the situation after or while it's happening. I could not know, I could predict, I could assume, I could think that it's very possible, but I could not call it knowledge what's going to be in the future. Why? Because it's never happened yet, and I have no way to just jump on time to the future. When Hashem knows, so that's the way we know as human beings, because we are physical, our ability to know is through the senses, through the body. The body is physical. Physical is limited by time and space. So we are under this frame called time. As I said, Hashem created the time. Hashem is not under, quote, quote, the time. If you could imagine no time, meaning take the time scale and erase the distance between the past to the present, and then erase the distance between the present and the future. Will be no time. Everything happening right now. Of course, it's impossible. You could just imagine it, but it's impossible in the physical reality. But Hashem is above the physical reality. Therefore, the connection, the interaction between us and Him is not similar. We are within the limits of time, and therefore we could not see the future. We could not know the future. But theoretically, hypothetically, if I will erase the distance between now and the future will happen right now. By Hashem, this is the case. So, this is the answer. Hashem, the same way, in present, there is no contradiction between my knowledge and your choice because I learned it from your action in a real time. If we will be able, theoretically, hypothetically, to make the future present, it will be the same thing. I could see what you do in the real time for the future. So of course no human being could do that, but Hashem could. Therefore, there is no real contradiction between what Hashem know and what you choose. Because Hashem is in a different realm, so to say. He is not under the limits that we have. This is the answer for this question. So when you ask if Hashem knows before, I must do what He knew. But you forget that the word before apply to you, not apply to Him. There is no before and after. Therefore Hashem is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yud Kei Vav Kei, Haya Hoveh V'Yeh, in the same time. This is the name of Hashem. Yud Kei Vav Kei, include in it Haya, Hoveh V'Yeh. He is above the time. And therefore there is no contradiction. And that's what Rabbi Akiva says, הכל צפוי והרשות נתונה. Hashem knows everything, even though we have free will. But Hashem knows everything. Because Hashem knows everything, and Hashem is the judge, but the system of the judgment is not arbitrary, but comes as an outcome of the action, as we said, those principles connected, sheyediat Hashem, number 10, sheyediat Hashem muchletet, that Hashem knows everything, aware of everything, and the sachar ve'onesh, the reward, because Hashem gave us the free will is not just a gift, it's also a responsibility. If you did good, the entire credit is yours. You know why? Because you could choose the opposite. If you did wrong, the responsibility is on you. Why? Because you could act just the opposite. Therefore, it's very serious, the free will. But there is a reward. There is a punishment. So those are very important principles connected to the first group. Hashem gave us Torah. Torah is the truth and the commandment. You have free will to take it in account or not take it in account. If you'll not take it in account, there are consequences. So those are principle 10 and 11. Principle 12 and 13, talking about the reward, the ultimate reward, after everything, after Tchias HaMeisim. And the ultimate reward actually is Olam Haba. The Mashiach and Tchias HaMeisim are steps in the time of the movement between this world to the world to come. This world meaning the world of free will to the world of the reward, the ultimate reward that will be in the world to come. Okay, there are many other things that are in between those principles, but those are the principles. You know, when we talk about Tchias HaMeisim, we have to understand that until Tchias HaMeisim there is a lot of things. I mean, there is a reward system when people are alive, still in their life. But there is, in a way, a punishment system after the neshama separate the body. And this is the entire concept of Gehinnom and Gan Eden. Gan Eden is not the world to come. Gan Eden is a very, very good place for the neshama when the neshama waiting to the time of going back to the body in Tchias HaMeisim. So Gan Eden and Gehinnom are the things that are in this world before Tchias HaMeisim. After Tchias HaMeisim, it will be completely a different thing. As I said, Tchias HaMeisim is just an event that will be before the end of the 6,000 years, before the time of the free will end. And its lead, or it's the resurrection of the people who passed away, is only for them to be judged at the big day of judgment to see if they have a portion, and which portion in the world to come. Okay, now, I want to go back to what the Rambam says. Remember, all these 13 principles are actually a summary of what is the meaning to be Israel. Rambam put them together around the words in the Mishnah, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. I'll repeat, it's very important to understand the words of the Mishnah. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Kol, meaning all. But in Hebrew, kol is a klal, a rule, a general rule. So there are rules for rules. There is a klal, שלכל כלל יש יוצא מן הכלל. That every rule has exceptions. So the Mishnah says, כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא, it's a rule. What that means, כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא, what's the emphasis on Israel? Every Jew, excluding who? The non-Jews. So there are two rules, one opposite of the other. The rule is all Jews, her portion will be in the eternity. יש להם חלק לעולם הבא. All non-Jews will not have a portion in the world to come. But here we have to add very important thing. Every rule has exceptions. לכל כלל יש יוצא מן הכלל. So the Mishnah continue, after the Mishnah said in general, כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא. The Mishnah says, and those are the exceptions. You could be a Jew, but you could lose your portion in the world to come. And the Mishnah gave a list of very, very severe things that if a Jew did, they lost their portion in the world to come. And actually that what's called chorus. היכרת תיכרת, היכרת בעולם הזה, תיכרת לעולם הבא. So there are Jews who will not have a portion in the world to come. Now let's go back to the other rule. All the non-Jews has no part in the world to come. But the same thing, there are exceptions. Who are the exceptions from the non-Jews? Those non-Jews who were what the Gemara called Chasidei Umot HaOlam. I don't know how to translate it to English, Chasidei Umot HaOlam. But the meaning of this practically, what's Chasid Umot HaOlam? It's not connected to Chasidim and Misnagdim. Chasid Umot HaOlam is a non-Jew who going out of the way, staying non-Jew, but going out of the way. What out of the way? There is thing in the Torah called Sheva Mitzvot Bnei Noach. The 7 mitzvahs that was given to Adam, Harishon, and Noach before Avraham Avinu, before was any Jew or any connection to Judaism. So there are 7 things that every human being, every descendant of Adam and Chava, every descendant of Noach, because all the other descendants of Adam and Chava perished in the Mabul, in the flood. So the world started again by Noach. So any person who exists alive in the world is a descendant of Noach. If this person, as a non-Jew, will keep the 7 mitzvahs of Noach, 7 mitzvahs that was given to Noach, he or she called Chasid Umot HaOlam, and they have a portion of the world to come, not as a Jew, but as a non-Jew who is Chasid Umot HaOlam. It's extra to say that the vast majority, but in a big way, vast majority of the non-Jews are not keeping the 7 mitzvahs of Noach. You have to understand what are the 7, you have to know them. I don't have time now to say it. We're speaking now about the 13 principles of Judaism. This is all a story by itself, what the 7 mitzvahs of Noach. But if they keep the 7 mitzvahs, they're good, they have a portion of the world to come. The vast majority of them are not keeping it, therefore they will not have a portion of the world to come. They will live their life in this world, and when they die, that's it, they finished. About Israel, about Jews, it says, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Meaning, why? By the way, why? Why? What makes Israel more than the Goyim deserve olam haba? The answer is Kabbalah Torah. When we accept the Torah, actually, this is the meaning of the Torah. The word Torah, the meaning of the word are instructions. Horaot, toreh li et haderech. Horaot for what? How to live the time that I gave you in this world in the right way. What do you mean in the right way? In the right way in order to get to the beyond this world. So because we accept the Torah, And we have to remember that at the time when Hashem gave us the Torah, the entire nation, Vayanu kol ha'am yachdav, everyone agreed, all the Jews said, Nasa v'nishma. Therefore, we have a portion in the world to come. Unless, again, the exceptions in the Jews that do not have a portion in the world to come, someone who denied the Torah. The Torah is the certificate. If you deny the certificate, okay, you deny the certificate. But those who completely deny it, not because they ignorance, not because they never learned, they learned it and they deny it after they know what it is. There are very few. But anyone who did this, when they know, it's called Makir et Ribono mitkaven limrod bo. He knows the truth, he knows Hashem, he knows the Torah, and he's not interested. Okay, not interested, fine. Then even if this person is a Jew, he will not have a portion of the world to come. The world to come is the eternity. The eternity is the Torah. Anyone who connected to the Torah has part in the eternity. Anyone who do not, okay, he chose not. Even though if he is a Jew, it doesn't matter. Those will be the minority of the minority at the end. Because you have to take into account also the reincarnation and many complicated things, but at the end, all the Jewish neshamas will be there at the world to come. Okay, I don't think we could do more now because our session the time is up. But we gave the major, first of all, the list of the 13. Try to explain a little bit each one of them. But there is so much more to learn about it. That's what we could cover. And that's it. Thank you very much for learning this. And I hope everyone will gain something from it.
Yes. There's always more to learn.
Yeah, sure. No, but particularly on this, we just touch, the surface.
Are you leaving for Israel tonight, Rabbi?
Yes. I'm on the way to the airport.
That's over.
Thank you very much.
For an incredibly informative share. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Good night.
Have a good trip.
Thanks.